And I'm wearing my old glasses. Yes. People said, we kind of miss the old days of the kitchen tarot. And I was watching the old Saturday Night Live skit where they were kind of making fun of us. And Kate McKinnon was able to get a replica of these glasses. And I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be fun to dig through my glasses, find the those old glasses that they made fun of, and do an old kitchen table tarot like we did a couple years ago. Yeah, this is my kitchen. If you look in the back, this is not a set. This is the medicinary. I'm a naturopathic physician. And this is my home. And I make my medicines to treat patients here in my home. I use several hundred different types of herbs depending upon what the medical condition is. You can see here, this goes back about there's 3 stacks. And then you can see additional herbs here. And then over here is where I do research. I do some experiments sometimes on plants. I grow plants, but I also will make some of the medicines over here. And of course, Mila likes to sit and spend the day with me as I make herbs, listen to mantras. I have a really great life here in Portland. It is also an air-conditioned apartment, which is much better than what I had in LA. Twice as much room and air-conditioned. But I do understand that people want to go back to the simpler time when it was just us before, things got complicated. So I want to talk some remote views today. And I've just come out of a remote on Putin. The only way to get out of the Ukraine war from Putin's perspective is that he has to pull out of Ukraine and do an assessment about whose fault it is that they didn't win. And there are plenty of people to blame, and Putin is not going to blame himself. So if you look at the news today, Prighozhin has died. He was probably shot down by Putin. That's the growing consensus. We can look a little bit at it. We'll do the impasse prayer. But the takeaway here is that he had the 7 of Wands. If you looked at his future, we always got the 7 of Wands, that it would implode on him. If you look at it from the perspective of the natural order, this is kind of how it always ends, right? It always ends with badly for tyrants. But from Putin's perspective right now, I think they need to pull out of Ukraine, and he can blame Shogu. He can blame Prighozhin. It's not his failure; it's their failure. Then he brings everybody back. He uses some propaganda that they caused this, and then he reassesses and determines whether or not they're going to try and go back in the future. It's going to be very hard for him to progress. Excuse me, because the bridge is gone, and there are a lot of other things going on. Also, when he went in, Finland and Sweden were not part of NATO, and now they are. So it's a very different situation if he leaves and decides to go back in. The other bit of news that we can talk about a little bit has to do with the fact that, Giuliani has posted $150,000 bail, and Sidney Powell, the attorney that worked for him, has also done that, has also posted bail today. Let's do the impasse prayer, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at, the situation in Russia, and then we will take a look at the situation in the United States. Be real quick. I have a patient pretty soon, so I'm going to have to close. I can't stay long. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we excuse me. As we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. We're going to first look at Russia and Putin and what the situation is there. It feels to me from a remote view, if I go in as Putin, and I also, when I landed, when I went into Putin's energy, I felt like my attention was not on Ukraine. Ukraine was here, but my border with China is over there. So I'm here, but my focus every time I'm in Putin, as an HCRV practitioner, I'm trying to see through his eyes, right? HCRV, you've got binoculars on. You're in from the perspective of the other, right? My attention is here, Ukraine, as Putin. Okay, let's pull back and assess how we screwed up. It's not my fault, it's their fault. They're the ones that told me to do this, including Prighozhin, which is why I took him out. This isn't my attention. This is my attention. What's going on over here? The East, Turkey, China, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Eastern Bloc of Asia, East Asia. Something is going on economically, and I don't feel like I have control with my trade partners. And that has my attention, this whole area, more than this nightmare, which I can just blame other people for, right? So that's what it feels like to me as him. Now we need to try and interpret it. Now we need to go in and do some research and try and figure out why the remote viewer had that impression when she went in, right? If you're looking at the situation objectively, right? The remote viewer being me, right? What the heck is that, right? Why is he always, I got to finish. I thought this was going to be quick. I got to get over to Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, China, Mongolia, Turkey. Why are these more in my head than this? This is something that should have been taken care of a while ago. This was not I'm supposed to be done with this and dealing with that. That is what I feel as Putin. The situation karmically, he thinks that he will grind them down. So he thinks that eventually they will be successful. Eventually, he's got that Ace of Swords. There's also a feeling of his financial, how he's been financially affected by this. For example, the fact that New Beginning in Russia, the fact that his partnerships, his trade, his oil, I guess he's selling to China, Eastern Bloc, his trade partners see importing and exporting as being, is a concern to him. Justice. People don't want to do business with him. He's put a lot of pressure on China, too, because China doesn't want to be in the middle of this. China can't economically handle it. Somebody else is taking power in Russia, and I think that Putin is not long for this world. It goes back to the fact that Putin has to pick his successor. And the reason he has to pick his successor is because his days are numbered, particularly if his health isn't that. He's getting older anyway. And like Yeltsin, he needs to pick his replacement. Yeltsin let Putin be the replacement, and Putin protected Yeltsin, and he was able to retire safely, theoretically, right? So you have this new man coming in, this new position of power. The fire sign male. They also say the future of Putin is that he will be stabbed in the back by his own. He was foolish and he will be stabbed in the back by his own. He waited too long. He was foolish. He waited too long to pick his successor. This is something that's come up repeatedly for Putin. I think he wants to get out of Ukraine now. He wants to get out and focus on the business of Russia, which was supposed to be strengthening his trade partners in the East, reconnecting with Turkey and trying to establish some kind of relationship to get trade back into East Asia. Okay, so this next one I'm going to do real fast is just to take a look at what's going on with Trump. I don't think he's going to be able to run. I think the GOP will knock him out. Of course, he could then threaten to start a Trump party or some party to challenge them. But the truth of the matter is, I think it's pretty much over for Trump. The bigger issue is the structure that created the problem in the first place, right? The fascistic systems in place, the Heritage Foundation, the lobbyists, they're still there. The structures are still in place, and they could simply go and find another candidate. So the issue isn't Trump. The issue is all of the people that put him into power in the first place. Liberty, the Liberty Group, all these lobbying groups. Let's take a look and see about Trump and his future in politics. I don't think there's much future here. And I think, we're getting back to sanity. I wish Biden could, stay longer, right? We want him to be a president as long as possible because he's very good at it. I see Biden being reelected. It always comes up, Biden being reelected. I don't see death and destruction. I see him retiring from his political career at 93. I've always said that. He could step down, but he's still outcome is Biden for the presidency. Presidency Biden. It's Biden's card. He wins. Heavy work lays ahead for the nation. We have to give up our bad temptations. Biden working hard, dealing with his number one issue right now, homelessness, the fentanyl. This is the fentanyl crisis. This is Biden. This became a Biden reading. Look at this, working hard. Look at his crossing card is for Biden. Addiction. It's killing males 18 to 45. Those are our soldiers. This is a war against the U.S. He's traveling. Biden's traveling. Research. It's about to declare war on national emergency. Health is strong with Biden. He pulled the strength card in the 6th house. Biden's health is strong. He's very stressed out right now. Biden is. Regarding the powers that he's dealing with crazy people. Hopes and fears global. Look at this. This is Biden at night. Dealing with his opposition's power. World events. Final outcome for Biden. King of Wands. Clarification. Runs like a thief from temperance and moderation. Wheels and deals. Final outcome. Justice will be served. King of Swords. Very strong people are stepping into positions of power. You train your whole life for a moment like this. King of Wands could be Jack Smith's card, but it is a card of justice absolute. The King of Wands is like Chango in the African tradition, in the sense that he is red, he is fiery, he is loyal, he is passionate, he is a war king. He's juxtapositioned with King of Swords, Queen of Swords. African tradition, that would be Oya, the queen who goes to battle. It's also associated with justice and truth. So overall, I think we're looking at Biden being reelected, and I think Trump is probably no more. Excuse me. He doesn't have much of maybe he'll flip, but he doesn't even come in the cards as the future. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can check me out at tarotwithwhimsy.com, or you can check out the information below. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next time. Be well.